Hey guys, so today we're going to talk more about finding the x-intercepts by factoring. So how we solve this quadratic equation using the factors. So yesterday we looked at some graphs, we found what those x-intercepts are and found other information like the y-intercept and whatnot. And now we're just going to look at the equations. How do I figure out where I cross the x-axis just based off of the equation? So we're really basically focusing on factoring today. So a couple factoring reminders before we get started. Remember, our first step every single time should be the GCF. So our greatest common factor is always our first step, the GCF there. And so whether it's a whole number like 2 or it's a negative in front, that's got to be moved to the front. Then we're looking for a number that multiplies to the last term. There are two numbers, sorry, I should say. So the last term, and adds to the middle term. So those are our initial steps there. So we're going to factor, and then we're going to set the factors equal to 0, and then we're going to solve for x. Let's look at this first example here. So we have x squared minus 9x plus 18 equals 0. So we're looking for two numbers that multiply to 18 and add to negative 9. And that's going to give us negative 6 and 3. So remember, if we're stuck, we should just start by writing out the parentheses, right? Give ourselves some place to start so we can boost our confidence a little bit. And we said we're going to get negative 6 and negative 3. And so now we need to set each of those parentheses equal to 0. So x minus 6 equals 0 and x minus 3 equals 0. Remember, this is telling us, okay, where does y equal 0 in our equation? Tells us where we are on that x-axis. So we add 6 to both sides, and we get x equals 6, and we add 3 to both sides, and we get x equals 3. So our two factors are x equals 3 and x equals 6. If we wanted to write them as points, we could say 6, 0, and 3, 0. Be careful on Math Excel and on our Canvas assignments if we specify that you should write it as a point, or if you're just solving, all you need to do is write x equals or, just x equals in that value. Okay, next one here, we have negative x squared plus 3x plus 10 equals 0. Just like class, we're going to be bouncing around today. So we have a GCF of negative 1. Remember, we can't have that negative in front. So we're going to factor out a negative 1. So we're left with x squared minus 3x minus 10 equals 0. So that negative 1 is going to go away because if we divide both sides by negative 1, 0 divided by negative 1 is 0. So we will be left with x squared minus 3x minus 10. What really that negative is doing is it's turning it from a u into a hill. So that's why it has a negative there, because it turns into a hill. So now I need a factor, so I can get two numbers that multiply to negative 10 and add to a negative 3. And that's going to be a negative 5 and a positive 2. So negative 5 and positive 2. So that will give us x minus 5 equals 0 and x plus 2 equals 0. So I get x equals 5 and x equals negative 2. As some of you might be noticing, we're taking our factors and then we're getting the opposite sign for our final answer, and that is what's happening here. Okay, on to number 7. We're basically going to work through the odds right now. We have a coefficient in front of the x squared. So remember, this is where we use our guess and check. So I'm going to start by splitting this up as 2x squared. 2x, my bad, 2x, and x. And I'm trying to guess and check numbers that give me 15, and then when I multiply them through, give me negative 13. So I'm thinking of all the different factors of 15. Well, if I try negative 15 and a positive 1, well, I get negative 15x and a positive 2x, which when I add them together, I get negative 13. So I'm good. So now I need to set each of these parentheses equal to 0. 2x minus 15 equals 0. and x plus 1 equals 0. So I need to solve for x. So I add 15 to both sides, so I get 2x equals 15. I divide both sides by 2. Yes, guys, it is possible to get a fraction. So our answer here is x equals 15 over 2. And when I subtract 1 on both sides, I get x equals 1. So I have x equals 15 over 2 and x equals 1. So difference of two squares here, reminder with that, remember if we have a negative value in the middle and both pieces are perfect squares, we can do difference of two squares, which means we have x and x, we make one positive and one negative, and we take the square root. So the square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 25 is 5. So I get x plus 5 and x minus 5. So I set each of these equal to 0. You guys will get into a phase where you might skip the step I'm on and jump straight into solving. That's okay. So I get x equals negative 5 and x equals 5. So again, those are the two places I cross the x-axis. So at negative 5, 0, and at 5, 0. Okay, number 11 here. So I have a GCF of 3. It looks like maybe difference of two squares because we have subtraction, but 3 and 12 are not perfect squares. So I need a factor out of 3. So I get x squared minus 4 equals 0. So if I were to divide both sides by 3, that's going to go away. So I end up getting x squared minus 4 equals 0, which I can use difference of two squares here. So x minus 2 equals 0 and x plus 2 equals 0. Again, like I said, we might skip that phase there. We can set both of those factors equal to 0. So x equals 2 and x equals negative 2. So just to clarify, the only reason this 3 goes away is because when we divide both sides by 3, we can't set 3 equal to 0. Okay? But in this next example, we'll see something with that x where we will set it equal to 0. So let's do GCF here, which is 2x. And I'm left with 2x plus 5. Now there is an x value here, so it does not just go away. We set this equal to 0. This is just like saying 2x times 2x plus 5. So we set 2x equal to 0 and 2x plus 5 equal to 0. So if there is a variable, so there's a variable here, we set it equal to 0. So divide both sides by 2 and x equals 0. We then subtract 5, so 2x equals negative 5. Divide both sides by 2. So x equals negative 5 over 2. So yes, you can have an answer of 0, right? That would just mean that we have an x-intercept at the origin, right? So if we have negative 5 halves, let's say, so we're just going through the origin here for our graph. Totally fine. 0 is an option as one of your x values. Okay. You are going to do 4 through 14 on your own, but we're going to keep going on to page 25. So now on to page 25. So what do we do if the equation is not equal to 0? So what if we have something not in standard form being ax squared plus bx plus c, and it's not equal to 0. So we're going to use inverse operations, meaning we're just going to add and subtract, multiply and divide to move stuff around so the equation equals 0. Then we'll do what we've been doing, solve with factoring, and it's easiest if the a value is positive. So looking here at number 15, I'm going to subtract 36 from both sides. So I get x squared minus 36 equals 0. So then I have a difference of two squares. So I have x minus 6 and x plus 6. I set each of my parentheses equal to 0. So x minus 6 equals 0. X plus 6 equals 0. So x equals 6 and negative 6. Okay, next one here. We're going to do 3 more, and then, guys, we're done for the day. So we are done. You have a little extra practice. So we have 3x squared. I want to move that 13 over, so I'm going to add 13x to both sides, so plus 13x plus 4 equals 0. So now I need to use that guess and check method. So I have 3x and x. So I'm thinking of two numbers that multiply to 4, and then when I check it, I'm going to get 13x in the middle. So I'm going to try a positive 1 and a positive 4. So this will give me x, and this will give me 13x. So I'm going to get 14, this will give me 12, and then this, I'm getting ahead of myself here, and that will give me 13x, which is exactly what I want, okay? So now I set each of these equal to 0, 3x plus 1 equals 0, and x plus 4 equals 0. So I subtract 1, so I get 3x equals negative 1, divide by 3, and x equals negative 1/3, and here I subtract 4, and x equals negative 4. So those are my two answers here. Okay, next one here, I'm going to move 6x and negative 9 to the other side. Again, it's better if our x squared is positive. So I'm going to get x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 0. So two numbers that multiply to 9 and add to negative 6. And that is x minus 3 and x minus 3. So I'll set each of those equal to 0, but they're the same number, or same expression, right? So I'm going to get the exact same thing. I get x equals 3 and x equals 3. So I only have one x-intercept here. And you might be thinking, how is that possible? Well, think about on a graph here, this is going to give us the point 3, 0, right? So it just means that we have 1, 2, 3. That means that our parabola goes down and it has a vertex of 3, 0. So it totally is possible to have only one. Generally, we'll have two. And remember, if I had no x-intercept, that would mean it's above the x-axis. So it is possible to have one. You only need to write one of those. Okay, last one here. Let's rearrange everything. So I'm going to subtract the 7x over and subtract the 3. So I have x squared minus 10x plus 21 equals 0. So two numbers that add to negative 10 and multiply to 21 would give me x minus 7 and x minus 3. I set each of these equal to 0, so x minus 7 equals 0 and x minus 3 equals 0. So x equals 7 and x equals 3. Okay, so go ahead and finish the even numbers on your own, and I will post the answers later. Have a great rest of your day, guys.